welcome to my channel about living in and moving to Denver, Colorado. Today's a really fun one of things bet you didn't know about Denver. Let's get started. Hey, I'm Katie Martineau, also known as the Real Estate Gal. If this is your first time tuning into this channel, I cover all things about living in and moving to Denver, Colorado. Today's really fun because of all the people that are relocating to Denver. I want to give them a taste of different fun facts and things to know about the city that they'll be residing in. I give neighborhood tours, what to expect with price points, schools, cost of living, all sorts of different stuff. In saying that, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you get notified every time I release a video, which is twice a week. And as mentioned, my nickname is Katie the Real Estate Gal. If you need help with buying, selling, or anything in between, I'm your gal and would love to help you. So I have my contact information below. So please reach out whichever method is best for you. Call, text, or email, and we can set up a game plan for your goals. So as I mentioned before, the title of this video is Bet You Didn't Know About Things in Denver, Colorado. So I just wanted to cover some really fun facts that you might not know about this city. I learned when I lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and actually I grew up in that area, there were so many different things that tourists knew about my city that I didn't even know, and I grew up there. So here's some fun facts and things to do around town, because whether you're visiting or you already live here, you're going to be passing a lot of these things just in transit or for all of the events that go around in Denver. You're bound to visit one of these locations or come across where these facts are relevant. So number one, the Denver Performing Arts Complex is the second largest performing art complex in the United States after New York's Lincoln Center. This place is giant. There are a ton of different theaters. They have multiple floors, parking, garages, studios, classes. And this area was one of the places that the Denver Derby was hosted prior to moving to McGregor Square, which is over by COORS Field. So this huge field area has a giant sculpture, and it's two people and they're dancing and they're holding hands. It's right next to the convention center. You will not miss it if you drive by. There's no possible way. But anyway, they would utilize the outdoor space to have this Kentucky Derby party. So of course there's a Kentucky Derby with the horse races that's in Kentucky, but Denver has the second largest Kentucky Derby party in the United States, where people are dressing up in beautiful dresses, guys in fedoras and suspenders, and of course the gals will have the fascinator hats, and then everybody tunes in to watch the horse races, but of course you have to make your bet first. So this was the perfect venue because it can host hundreds and thousands of people just in their outdoor venue space. Back to some of the auditoriums, there are a plethora of different shows throughout the year, such as comedians, dance performances, Broadway productions. So like I said, this complex is definitely one that you're eventually going to come across because there's so many different types of artistic expressions and performances that are hosted here. Fact, which you probably know, is Denver is also known as the Mile High City. We are 5,280 feet above sea level. So in saying that, if you don't already live in Denver and you're looking to relocate here, this is a super important fact because it does take your body time to acclimate to the higher elevation. The air is thinner, you sunburn a lot quicker because we're that much closer to the sun. Even the fittest of the fit people take time to acclimate to the higher elevation. And a fun fact to piggyback off of that one, going to the Colorado Rockies Stadium, also known as COORS Field, they have a row of purple chairs that are really close to the top of the stadium, and it surrounds the entire stadium. And that is to mark the 5,280 feet above sea level that Denver is. And that's why we're called the Mile High City. Speaking of the Colorado Rockies, our baseball team, Denver is one of the few cities that has 7 professional sports teams. So we have the Colorado Rockies, which is our baseball team. Their stadium is located right downtown in the heart of downtown Denver. We have the Broncos, and the Empower Field is what is currently called, is just across I-25, really, really close to downtown. We have the Colorado Avalanche, which you should have heard them in the news because they just won the Stanley Cup last year. year, and they play at Ball Arena, which again is right next to Elitch Gardens in the heart of downtown Denver. And Ball Arena shares with the Nuggets.
You know that I love
Denver
Nuggets! Me too, Mama!
Which is our basketball team. And if you're watching this video in real time, the Nuggets are competing against the Miami Heat for the championship. So it is super fun to have all of the watch parties around and all of the fans going nuts everywhere at all the bars. We're doing pretty okay. We're right in the middle of the 7-game series. So we will see if we can win another championship this year. Then we have the Colorado Rapids, which is a soccer team. And we have the Colorado Mammoth, which is lacrosse, as well as the Denver Outlaws, which is also lacrosse. It's kind of fun to see if there's ever a trifecta of games or performances. So when the Broncos play at Empower Field, Colorado Rockies baseball plays at COORS Field, and then something's going on at Ball Arena. It gets crazy busy downtown. I remember an Uber driver saying once, those are the perfect nights to drive because you will just be bouncing around everywhere. Moving on to the Denver International Airport. Fun fact, other than the giant sculpture called Lucifer, which you will see if you are driving to the airport or coming from, it is a huge horse and it has these glowing devil eyes, and it's well known because that horse sculpture actually killed its creator. It fell on top of the artist that was creating it and ended up killing him, unfortunately. And I'm pretty sure that's why he has those like red shiny devil eyes. But anyway, back to the airport. This is one of the iconic airports globally that people recognize because of these white tent peaks. So there are 53 14ers, which are mountains that you can climb that are 14,000 feet of elevation or greater. So some people want to complete them all. Some people have their favorites. There's a couple that you can drive up to make it a little bit easier. Some are like legit mountains, like Pikes Peak is a challenge. Then there's some like BIERSTADT where it seems like it's just kind of you're walking in a valley and then all of a sudden you hit the peak and it's almost like you're in a prairie. A little bit anticlimactic, but some people like to complete them all. Back to the airport, there are all these white peaks and it resembles the 53 14ers that we have. Denver International Airport is also the largest airport in the United States by land area. So if you ever see the Denver International Airport on a map, it's really interesting because it's removed from the city, which I think is actually a good thing. There is a light rail that takes you to the airport from Denver Union Station, or there's a couple different areas that it stops along the way. But the nice thing is that that specific airport can continue to expand because it's not surrounded by anything. Now, another interesting fact, which might be debunked, is that the Westin Hotel, which is a hotel that's attached to the airport, some say it looks like some giant wings. I think it looks like a pair of sunglasses. So that part's debatable. It's over 700 rooms, and I don't believe it was actually supposed to be built. They didn't want any hotels that were attached to the airport or nearby. All of the other hotels you have to take a shuttle from because they're so far removed. So there was some sort of law that was being passed, and what I heard, or a rumor, was that hotel decided to, you know what, we're just going to pay the penalty and we're going to keep building. So it's a very successful hotel for obvious reasons for all the travelers that are coming and going, but all other hotels are going to be a little bit further away. There are some airports, like the airport in Dubai, I believe, that is completely surrounded. So there is no room for expansion, but the Denver International Airport, also known as DIA, doesn't have that challenge. Next fun fact is the Denver Zoo was the first zoo in the United States to have naturalistic enclosures instead of cages. Super random, but now that I think about it and I replay when I was at the zoo, it's totally right. Most of the zoo is outdoors and they do host events throughout the year. So of course, great place to take the kids. I don't think that it would be really comparable to the Minnesota Zoo or the San Diego Zoo per se, but it is a really great educational place to go. They also have events such as Boo at the Zoo, which is during the Halloween time frame where kids can dress up and go trick-or-treating. And then they also have zoo lights. And so you go at night and there's little stands you can buy hot cider or hot chocolate. And then there are all these little twinkle lights that decorate the cages, and there's light up animals. So they make it a really fun winter activity to do with the family. All right, we got 2 more fun facts. The first one is a really great date night option. The Denver LARIMER Square, which is a block that is right downtown Denver, is one of the few remaining Victorian era commercial blocks in the United States. So it's right downtown Denver, and it is a block that has these really cute market lights that go across the street, and there are some really great finds for restaurants and bars right there. There is the Green Russell, which is a speakeasy bar. Definitely feels like you're in a little bit of a cave during kind of like the flapper gangster era, and that's attached to a meat market, so you can get a full meal and then some cocktails after. There's also Osteria Marco, which I'm not a huge Italian restaurant fan, and they do phenomenal. They have a lot of homemade pasta and pizza. They have homemade burrata. And even though you go downstairs, so the restaurant's essentially kind of in a basement, you're taken back in time a little bit, and you do feel like you have a lot of Italian inspiration around you. Then there is Tamayo on the corner, and they have a fantastic brunch. They're a Mexican style restaurant. And there's a couple little vacant shops around as well that will get filled by pop-ups every so often. So I went to a pop-up Halloween bar that had Halloween inspired cocktails. One, you got a little devil, and there was dry ice floating outside of it. It was decorated completely in cobwebs and zombies. Oh, one of the other drinks was a blood bag, and it had some sort of fruit punch cocktail in it. There's a lot of different pop-ups like Santa bars, Halloween bars, and other random themes throughout the year in all of downtown Denver. And then just outside of that little strip, there is the Comedy Works, so you could definitely do dinner and a show. And then there's some chain restaurants that are more recognizable if you're interested in. Ocean Prime is on the corner, as well as Capitol Grill, which is a steakhouse, is also in Larimer Square. Now, because of COVID and all of the restaurants and bars shutting down, the city really encouraged outdoor dining so that you could have the 6 feet of separation and restaurants could then stay in business. So what a lot of the restaurants did in Larimer Square is they blocked off parts of the actual street, and whomever decided to block off Larimer Square, it's actually been a really great business decision because you can no longer drive down Larimer Square. There is a bar that is open quite frequently, and they also have some musical artists that play either guitar or a small band. And then they have little street games like beanbag toss. So Larimer Square is definitely one, if you are driving by, you can't not see it because of those gorgeous market lights. Like I said, absolutely perfect date night idea. And last but not least, in 1993, the very first Chipotle Mexican restaurant was opened in Denver. I feel like I just need to mic drop that. All right, so that was a really fun video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't done so already, I love doing little videos like that. So please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you get notified every time I release a video, which is twice a week. And as mentioned, if you have any real estate needs, I would be honored to earn your business. So please reach out, call, text, or email, whatever is best for you. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.